All right, we're back at the passing show, and this is Hair Wings Live with Hal Gill, your host, and just taking a little bit of who, what, when, and where here in DC. Just walking along, picking through some leaves, piling up on the edge of the road, in the edge of the sidewalk. That is. So works on over here, one of our neighboring houses. You know, there are a lot of old homes that need upkeep. That one over there is the embassy of Myanmar, formerly Burma. If you're not familiar with Myanmar, it's a country up next to Thailand and not far from India. You know, it's a British colony at one point, if I recall correctly. And now it's going through some stuff, as we've heard about. This place here is the embassy of the ambassadors, or the Chinese ambassador's home. I got some communication array up there, probably keep them in touch with China. It's a nice place, pretty large. Next door to that, on the other side, Myanmar, next door to Myanmar, on the other side from the Chinese and that embassy, that's putting out some nice pansies. That's a nice touch. Chewing up the soil a little bit there. That'll look nice for the winter months. And across the street over here, we have the home of Jeff Bezos. He's bought this double mansion. A couple of numbers there. I think 2330, something like that. I forget. 2320 S Street. I'm at 2103 myself. So Jeff and I, neighbors, when he's in DC, which I think is kind of rare. Although he might be there now. I don't know. That Denali SUV looks robust enough to possibly be his. I doubt it. Yeah, so it's got some staff, and I'm sure he owns one of the two of these. I think maybe this one. Bought the one across the street as well. You know, he can buy anything he wants. There's the Woodrow Wilson house. That was the home of Woodrow Wilson after he was president. Is it actually connected to? This looks like it is. A little connecting door. Something to Bezos' house. Did not realize that. Just noticed it for the first time. Anyway, it's all good. Okay, we got a few of you joined us. Simona, hi. Ellie Allen and Nori. Good to have the four of you. My internet connection, they tell me, is unstable, but I don't know if that's true or not. This is the Islamic Republic of Mauritania's residence for the ambassador. It's a Mauritanian territory. If I step across, an embassy of Pakistan's residence next door. I often take people down here and tell them what's what. If you feel like you want to chime in with where you're viewing from, that would be nice to know. We'll have a conversation as we go. I don't check the comments that quickly, but if you did, I might notice. I might take more notice. You know, one of the things on my mind is attention and how much paying attention is worth these days. And I hope that we're all paying attention, not only to the passing show that I'm filming, but to the very nature of history as it's unfolding. You know, we all have a stake in it. We all have our part to play. We need to be good ancestors. This is the Royal Netherlands Embassy. Dutch ambassador lives there. And yeah, so on we go. We got a lot of neighbors, as it turns out. I'm not walking particularly quickly because I don't feel like it. No, look at that big SUV for hire type. There are a lot of those around. This is probably a car belonging to the Embassy of Chad. I'm not positive of that fact, but I think it's likely. Right there, DQD. Could look up the QD and find out what diplomat plate that is. The Embassy of Chad is right here, so it would make sense. I decided to walk down, apparently, to Massachusetts Avenue, and I don't know if I'm turning south or north at this point. I might like to turn towards DuPont Circle, maybe make a big loop there. I don't feel so great. A little bit, you know, reflective. My practice. A little dog there hanging out of that Tesla. So cute. So as I cross here, you're coming up on a monument to a particular Irish revolutionary or something. It's called Robert Emmett Park. Statue, bronze of him standing there as part of Rock Creek Park's National Park Service. The U.S. Department of the Interior maintains it. So let's take a look at that as we pass. I think he was an Irish poet, an Irish patriot anyway. 1778, 1803. It's not very long life. 22, 25 years old when he passed. It'd be interesting to know his story. Perhaps it's here. I don't know. Let's check it out. Oh, it's a little plaque right here on the ground. It says, oh, the statue committee. Honorable Victor J. Dowling, chairman, presented the statue to the Smithsonian Institution as a gift to the American people. On June 28, 1917, in the presence of President Woodrow Wilson, it was erected on this site on April 22nd, 1966, in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the proclamation of Irish independence. So, yeah, interesting. April 22nd. It means that it was given to us just after Ireland had declared its independence. Here's the story. Robert Emmett said, I wish to procure for my country the guarantee which Washington procured for America. Emmett was born in Dublin in 1778, strongly influenced by the American Revolution, educated in Trinity College, Dublin, remembered by his contemporaries for his oratorical brilliance. And he led an armed rebellion against British rule in 1803, claiming the establishment of the Irish Republic. The uprising was quickly suppressed. Emmett fled, but was captured upon returning to Dublin to see his fiancée, Sarah Curran, tried for treason. On September 19th, 1803, he was immediately found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. And his speech from the dock motivated the movement that led to independence for Ireland following the Easter Rising in 1916. He said he appealed to the Immaculate God that my conduct has been governed only by conviction of the emancipation of my country from this inhuman oppression under which she has so long and too patiently travailed. Let no man attaint my memory by believing that I could have engaged in any cause but that my country's liberty and independence. Let's no man write my epitaph. When my country takes her place among the nations of the earth, then, and not until then, let my epitaph be written. It was executed the next day on September 20th of 1803. And he continues to inspire In 1912, the institution offered space for the statue in the rotunda of the U.S. National Museum, and a group of Irish Americans commissioned Jerome Connor to create the sculpture. Woodrow Wilson attended its dedication in 1917, and the Smithsonian American Art Museum loaned the sculpture to the National Park Service in 1966 to serve as a centerpiece of this park to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Easter Rising. And President Lyndon Baines Johnson sent this message: the sheer patriotism and gallant courage of Robert Emmett have inspired Americans no less than Irishmen. We Americans are proud to accord a place of honor here in the nation's capital to Robert Emmett, whose struggles and sacrifices bespeak the yearnings of mankind throughout the ages. Jerome Connor, the master sculptor, was born in County Kerry, Ireland, 1874, and after immigrating to Massachusetts in 1888, he trained as a stonecutter and bronze founder, and he attended Albert Hubbard's esteemed Roycroft artisan community, and in 1910, established a studio in Washington, D.C., where he lived until returning to Ireland in 1925. And his sculptures include Bishop John Carroll, Nuns of the Battlefield, Bronx Victory Memorial, and the Lusitania Peace Memorial in Cobb County, Cork. Posthumous. Okay, let's just jump across here while I can. I've got 4 seconds. Big truck. Don't want to get in his way. That's a monster truck, huh? Really impressive. Western Star. Nah, there's 2. I don't know what he's up to, but putting out some diesel smoke, I can tell you that. Who else is here? So Thayer joined, Robert Scott. Thayer, thank you for subscribing recently. I appreciate that. We also got Sandra Starflower has joined as well. I was saying earlier that if you want to tell me where you are, that'd be nice, and we can maybe have a conversation. This is the Embassy of Croatia. DJT0001 would be the Croatian ambassador's car, no doubt. And they make a lovely sculpture here of St. Jerome, the priest, greatest doctor of the church. Mestrovic was the Croatian sculptor who lived 1883 to 1972. I do love that sculpture. So, there's a few other Croatian diplomacy cars there. I got to know a diplomat from Croatia while I was in Goethe Institute in 1994. Jaroslav Shelio is his name. And I really enjoyed my time there. I've got about an hour to walk. So I'm going to continue to talk and walk through my neighborhood, sharing a little bit of who, what, when, and where with all of you. There are other facilities across the way. Oh, look at that. They're doing some work on that house. Re-roofing, apparently. Oh, what is slate tiles? Looks like it. Anyhow, this place belonged to some embassy, I think. Not sure. It might have been belonged to Iraq. And it's all closed up now. 2315 Massachusetts Avenue. Gorgeous house. Look at the big architectural decorations. And yeah, there's the flag pole, or whatever flag used to fly here. Really not sure. I should look things like that up. I don't bother for the most part. You all can if you're interested. Anybody want to tell me where you are? No? Okay, nobody's talking to me. They're just maybe blinking in for a minute while I'm recording. That's okay, because this is not really for anybody in particular. It is just what it is. This is the Embassy of Chile, I believe. Yes. And they got a monument to Orlando Letelier, former Chilean foreign affairs minister and ambassador to the United States. He was killed September 21st, 1976 in a terrorist attack on Sheridan Circle along with his colleague, Ronnie Carpin Moffat. Government of Chile, his family, and colleagues erected this in 2018. I'd forgotten. I thought it was Peruvian, but it's actually Chilean ambassador who was killed in a car bombing right here on Sheridan Circle. Not awful. That could have happened in 1976. A shock to the system. Bronco cruising by there. Okay. It's right over here, in front of, I think, the now home of the Turkish ambassador. My, they have a huge flag out at the moment. Now I've got to decide on which way to go. I stood there wondering which way to go. It's a Buick. It's a fairly big Buick SUV. I didn't even know they were making it that big. It's an enclave. Yeah, they've redesigned that somewhat from what it used to look like. I remember my friend Joey Calaboso, originally from the Philippines. He's probably back in the Philippines now. I don't know. He was a lieutenant colonel when I met him. Actually, I think he was a major in the United States Air Force when I started working at the Air Force in 2008, if I remember correctly. And then, we were there for a while, and he got transferred over to Brussels, part of the NATO contingent. And they shipped his Buick Enclave over there, too. Tell you, being an Air Force officer, it's a pretty good gig. He did his work, and I did my work alongside him. We had adjacent corners of a 4-person cubicle, a table in the middle where we could meet. We were called when I arrived there, the Business Capability and Agile Combat Support Engine Room. We became the nucleus of what would become the Secretary of the Air Force's Office of Business Transformation. I did that for 8 years or so. No, 7. Till 2015 when I left in the fall. I had been there just a tad over 7 years. One of the best gigs I've had. Really grateful for all those years through FGM, later Nevada Company, and then through Synergy BIF, Business Migration Services or something like that. Synergy was a fairly new company. A lot of these small businesses have been very good to me. And I've worked for eGlobal Tech, which has been bought by another organization. I've forgotten which. eGlobal Tech's founder, Sonia Jain, passed away from cancer, liver cancer, much younger than I am now. It's a good reminder, another day in the bonus round. But she made lots of opportunities for other people. These people who start small businesses, that's what they do. They make opportunities for others and enrich themselves in the bargain. It's true. But I don't know. They take the risk. And having taken the risk, they deserve the spoils of doing that. I've taken a risk and started a business myself. I'm not really working very hard at it. It's a memorial foundation to my father and my grandfather and me, for that matter. And it stands doing what it does. And, I consider it my job to not only steward their legacy, but to create my own. And part of creating my own is doing a passing show. Anybody talking? Nobody's talking. I am doing a passing show. It's kind of an interesting little niche, isn't it? Doesn't have anything in it. I wonder what it was. I'm passing by various flagged entities. And I'm on Massachusetts Avenue. I guess I am. We're not on Q. No, not on Q Street. Q Street sort of diagonals across over here, isn't it? Or does it? I've kind of lost track of where I walked to. Walking and talking. I'm at the corner of Florida Avenue. I can tell that much. I believe that's the embassy of Luxembourg across the way, flying the Ukrainian flag next to that turkey. And one of their offices, anyway, their main office is further up on Mass, other direction. It's the embassy of Estonia there, also flying Ukrainian colors. I'll keep on walking. Don't know where I'm likely to end up, really. Could be anywhere. Say defense for the flu shot. As your reminder, I have mine on board. I have a COVID shot as well from last Wednesday. Boy, that was not fun. On Thursday. Got some mosquitoes out still. It's pretty cool, but mosquitoes are still about. Be glad when they're gone. And there'll be something else. You know, every season has its ups and downs. But passing by, shot the Cosmos Club. I was in touch with my friend Sophie recently. She's the head of the chess club at this Cosmos Club, among other things. Across the way, there's the Museum of the Society of Cincinnati. There's officers who served with George Washington. Small sculpture of George out front. Let's look at the Cosmos Club's entrance. There it is. Oh, flowers. I sometimes just like to go around and take pictures of flowers as opposed to filming the past in a show. But it is what it is, right? Good to have at least 7 of you peeking in. And the whole idea of this is to give a little primary documentation of who, what, when, and where. It's the Embassy of India. And across the way of Indonesia, yonder. And here, a monument to Mahatma Gandhi in bronze. Figures of the 20th century as we move from 2 billion people on Earth to 3 and on to 4. We hadn't reached 3 billion, I don't think, when Gandhi was among us. I got over 8 billion. Think about that. That's sort of like number of minds that are interrelated with each other. It's kind of astonishing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a crossover by Inspire. This was for a while the Fairfax. It's been converted into senior living facility. Quite nice when it said. It's advertised a lot in New Yorker. I'm sure it's not cheap to be cared for there. Burn up whatever you manage to save up. Good place for millionaires. I remember my friend of mine said, yeah, it looks like a nice place to die. And it didn't go over well with the people who were showing him around. They were trying to bring a senator from South Dakota back to live there. See out his twilight years, bring him back close to D.C. Would be nice. I liked having him around. Got a lot out of being in his cohort. And now I'm just another of the people he knew and people he cared about. Cared enough about me to take me out to coffee one day and was concerned about my career. And he probably should have been, but So I'm doing all right. How much does a person need anyway? Do love my paid subscribers, though. I'll tell you what, if any of you would be considered to do that, that would be lovely. Karen Jonathan, I don't know you personally, but I'm glad you like what you're seeing. I'm just walking along and talking as I'm here by Fee Street and 21st Street. I live on 21st and S, so a few blocks down from my house. Looking at the emissary. It closed. Well, closed. Or maybe they're just not serving outside, so they look close. No, they're open. Somebody's inside there waiting for that coffee or something. All kinds of places around here. Oh boy. A la detour. There's the back of the embassy of Indonesia. They really need a paint job on their windows. Hopefully they can find time to do that. They're probably deferring it. I don't think it should be deferred much longer from the look of it. I'm gonna head down towards second story books. Looks like nope. Looked like I could slip across. A little jaywalking maneuver. Tis not to be. I do it now? No. Too perfectly spaced. Those vehicles coming on. You never know who you might see on a passing show. And that's one of the reasons I do it. One of the many. Just trying to document a little who, what, when, and where. Picking up little bits of metadata of a particular part of the geography of this planet. Here in Washington, D.C., P Street Northwest and 20th. Huh. Focusing in a paying quotidian. I'm going to cross here. Go look at the $3 books. It's always something to learn or something to spark a thought. Antiquarian Spotlight. Books in German. So always catch my eye. I can usually tell a German book. You can't tell it much. Uh, yes. More titles. Think about the number of books that are published. Aside. That's interesting. Keith and Stewart. I've been twice. It takes a while to write a book or create a body of work that can be the subject of a book, which is what I may be doing. Year of Indecision, 1946, a tour through the crucible of Harry Truman's America. Washington, gay general. Huh. Let's just sit there and destroy them. I don't care about that. It could be true. I had no idea. I'm sure Strowman was responsible for drilling the soldiers to the point where they could fight. Keats, A Brief Life in 9 poems and 1 epitaph. And Spencer's The Very Queen. Again, that jumps out at me. down here. Cantos. Subhuman Redneck Poems by Russ Murray. Break, Blow, Burn. Page 43 of the world's best poems. Autographed copy by Camille Paglia. Camille Paglia. She's figured into my life a little bit. Back's drop. Yep. Didn't know. It's not how things seem to me. I could be wrong. Should we go this way? I think I could make it. That's an electric Porsche, huh? Always interested in what's going on in the craniums of my fellow human beings. You know, I was talking about being awake and aware earlier today, and how very much most of us have a significant amount of our going about being handled by our inner robot parts of us that are unconscious, things like our digestion, walking, keeping bipedal gait going. I don't have to think about that a whole lot. Most of it works automatically. Although I am getting some sensory input enough to stay upright. I think if my leg was numb, I'd have a hard time walking. But doesn't need a lot. When you look at where most of my input is coming in, it's somewhere in the solar plexus. And otherwise, gliding around inside of this ongoing entity, an animal that carries the imp within me, mischievous, out any particular aims, kind of an observer of myself, of others. I think we should observe ourselves and others. Dive in deep. Get to know what's under the surface. I can only scratch the surface in the course of a conversation on Harrowing's podcast, but I like to do them. And if anybody wants to be my guest, they could be. Sue Harding has joined. I've invited folks to let me know where they are. Geographically speaking, it can be very vague. I'm in America. I'm on the left coast. I'm on the right coast. I'm in the middle. I don't know. Or you could be in Europe, or you could be anywhere. Doesn't matter. I'm curious. Where are you? Write it in the chat as you ride along, taking in the passing show. This is DuPont Circle, by the way, if you don't know it. They are working on an overdecking project. I don't know exactly the timetable, but I don't see a lot of decking going on yet. Maybe soon. Don't you never say never, 'cause it don't mean a thing. It'll happen eventually. Oh, they got some information on it. Yeah. Connecticut Avenue Streetscape and Tech Over. Looks like they've allotted from the Federal Highway Trust funds a little over $8 million and close to $30 million from the District of Columbia to do this work, beautify my neighborhood, make it more pedestrian friendly. We shall see. Shall see how that all turns out. No telling. I think rather than walking up here, I'll walk back here. We might cut through to Kramer Books, because it's always nice to look at what Kramer Books has on the shelves. What is it trying to program me with? It's an independent bookstore, so it's not as likely to be propagandizing me in corporate direction. to some direction. I think that's what we have to think about. There's a press club bar of record. It's all closed up. And then here we have folks with tea. And high tea. No, you could have high teas here. Let's take a look. Let's see if I go in here. Thank you. Nothing. Let's go look at the menu. Oh, so something busy. So that way. Oh, there's cakes. And there's the bookstore. This is what I'm here for. Take a look at this. Hey, pumpkin and gorgonzola pizza. That looks good. Looks like they changed the menu a wee bit. Steak frites. I like that idea. Breakfast all day. Add-ons today. Sides. What's the pasta? Oh my gosh. You have to come back here one of these days. Figure it out. I have to do it on my own. I don't know. It's some spirits. It speaks of the companions and gods who are to me. For a particular book. Actually, I'm sick of every dudes. So I'm like, where is it? Herzog's The Future of Truth is good. I liked that. Tense. Mother Mary Feast. Yeah, that's a good one. Something about the web. See that? Oh, it's so intense. Yeah. By the way, he said it was 20. Nope. Oh, poor daughter off. That's interesting. What's that? They've taken it off. It appears. Take a look at what's in front. Naturally, it's the machine. Okay. Water bears. Future world order. It's that. It's how I share like global civilization will survive the decline of the West. Well, that's good to know. I'm cool memoir. Camera crow. Sticking power. That's flag number color. And there's the lead. Let's see if I got it here. These truths, a history of the United States, Constitution of America. Oops. That's all right. I'll live. Probably. These are all the concerts that I don't do. I go to. The temperature. Anxious generation. Body keeps score. Somebody was debunking that recently. I thought that was nice. I like it when people debunk things. There's so much nonsense out there. And maybe I participated in spreading the nonsense around kind of unthinkingly. But a lot of times I'm doing it so people will challenge it opposed to going along with it always. Got over there. Chabon's books, including Wonder Boys. That's good to see. I like that book. Yeah. I ain't got a very few books selected short up against my ones. Well, it's a few hundred, but and it made me what I am. Books have The Pale King, The Oblivion, Bramble System, over here. It takes time, 3:15. I got about a half an hour, killed little time getting back to the house. I'm just going to have something last night, and so you have something else tonight. Stay. Thank you. Yep. Yep. And on we go. Pod and board. What's that called? Switching board. I was interested in that, but I can't do my podcast in such a formal sense yet. I need to have more revenue, you know? And I don't have a lot. I'm doing what I can with what I have. We need to see what I can do with so many people that I could be having on. And not. Anybody else here? Okay, let's see. Sue Harding is joined. Still nobody talking to me about where we are. Major conservancies, fundraising, daily provisions goes on. They have sandwiches there. I don't want their sandwiches. I just like their egg and cheese in the morning. Simple, straightforward. Don't have to think about it. Brow contour. That's where switching boards should be. Think, maybe. Place for rent, retail space. But that's switching board sound. Yeah, not advertising. Stuff there. Nice watches. Pretty nice watch myself. I didn't like some very candy thing for so that loft. It's like a juicy spray. We've got this elbows that you so you see there's a number of folks making their way from dawn to dusk. Under the sail. Got a little bit of time. You know, like the back of the post. From there? Yeah. Because you know, it's be late for me. We're still salon. Do some type of thing on it. Uh-huh. Love this place. I let her. It's grown on me. I like their almond raisin salad or whatever it is. Yeah. Say all that anyway. Anyway, whatever it is, I like to get it with steak. Those tiny little pieces of beef. That comes with a balsamic, which when you dip the beef in the balsamic, it just tastes so good. Yep. That's what I like. All protein. A salad. This Lucky Convenience just opened up fairly recently. So that's about. Yeah, it's got nothing bad. Father Property in Casa. 31 seconds to get across R. So I continue up in this direction. No, I think not. Positioned another acorn in a different spot than it would have been otherwise. One of my favorite pastimes this time of the fall. Concrete action. Yep, I've been thinking a lot about it. I've been writing about it. Been doing some of it. Arranging electrons. Patterns. It's what we do with human beings these days. Don't know, I don't know what to say about it. It's nice to have had after 10 of you join me on the passing shows. I've burned up, let's see, I burned up about 33% of my power. DC Nail Spa. Another one. Human beings spending a lot of time working on nails. Human beings working on decorating themselves. Human beings, generally, across the board. Chocolate wellness. So I do think of myself as an expansive type. Throwing this content out into the stream and letting it go to wherever it goes. Hit somebody's retinas, if it hits somebody's eardrums, they might do something with it. Might consider that every cent we spend is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. And might see opportunity out here in the world to be the change they want to see in the world, as opposed to being just sleepwalking through it all. Awareness, awake. Now, I probably have more ideas and more reflections to make on this whole subject once I get back in and started reading others, amplifying their signals through the void, through cyberspace, through the cacophony of signal, crossing each other, canceling each other out. I don't know, man. It's how it seems to me, and I could be wrong. I think if we all adopted that and were more open-minded, considerate, reflective, interested, curious, I think we'd be doing a lot better. Maryland, I'm grabbing up a lot of metadata in the process, so you can see the flow of human beings, certainly. You can also see the flow of vehicles. You can pick up information about those vehicles. And when it comes down to it, there's a tremendous economic driver behind all of it. 3:23. I think I'll get some more juice in the tub. Tuck myself back into the bunker for about 20 minutes. Then head over to pick up Lynn. And she'll appreciate that, I think, when I get her from work. Bring her home. It looks like clouding up here. If you're down in Jamaica, if you're batting down Hurricane Melissa, no joke. Can vouch for that. Here we go. Interesting books. There's always a little something there. Romanians of DC provide that little free library. I should stock it instead of depleting it. I'll get myself up here. Look down the way at the crows on S Street. To the east, here they come. heading my way. Pair. I love those guys. Here's another. He's taking a high flight over me. And one of them is stopped on top of that building across the way on a chimney, calling a bit. So that's the passing show for now, Corvid edition. Thanks for joining. Based Politics, thank you for being a part of it too. We're out here. Remember, every cent spent is about the kind of world we are co-creating. Oh, it did not end. There we go. End the live video.